Hi, my name's Amanda and I'm presenting with Tyvana and Youssef for our health education project this year, which is about strokes. We have all heard the term a stroke, and some people know someone who's had a stroke, but many people don't understand what a stroke actually is and how it affects someone who's had one. It is the second leading cause of death worldwide, so why don't people know about this? 795,000 people have a stroke each year, and it's alarming that people don't know about this medical emergency. By educating teenagers from the ages of 15 to 18, we hope that they could learn from our presentation and potentially save a life one day. Our goal was to educate students about the types of strokes, the causes of strokes, how to spot a stroke when it's occurring, and how to prevent a stroke. As for the instructional planning, after we decided on our topic, the three of us met once a week on Zoom to collect our data by researching and collecting our supportive information. Then we created our lesson plan, which included the creation of our Google slide presentation, which we presented to the students. Then we presented to the students and collected data about how much the students learned. And after, we focused on creating our portfolio.
Before we could put together our Google Slides presentation, we had to gather our information. And we all played a role in researching. For example, Amanda figured out what the acronym FAST stood for and gathered all that type of information. I figured out symptoms and prevention, and Youssef figured out what a stroke was and the different types of strokes. After we got all of our data, we were able to put together our presentation. And we decided that we wanted each of us, instead of going back and forth on each slide, since we were going to be on Zoom, each person was going to talk for about 3 to 4 slides consecutively, just to try to avoid the internet complications since we were going to be on Zoom. To begin, Amanda started off by introducing us, the topic, posting the link to our pretest in the chat for the students, asking a warm-up question, and showing a brief 2-minute video on our topic. Following Amanda was Youssef. Youssef talked about what a stroke was, different types of strokes, different types of hemorrhagic strokes. He talked about a TIA, and he gave visual representations. After Youssef, I explained risk factors and symptoms of a stroke. And then after me, Amanda was up again, and what she did was she talked about the FAST acronym, and she provided visuals on that as well. After Amanda, Youssef went again, and he gave different statistics of a stroke. And then after Youssef, I talked about different prevention techniques. To wrap everything up, I instructed the students to take the post-test, which Amanda posted in the chat again. And then to finally end everything, Youssef ended off by thanking the students, thanking the teachers, and asking if there were any questions.
To get a better understanding of the effectiveness of our lesson plan, we use 3 different types of feedback tools. One of the feedback tools that we use is a pre and post test. The pre and post test was 2 tests, the same questions, that was before and after our lesson plan, to understand what the students knew before our lesson and what they learned throughout the lesson plan. This can be shown on page 11 of our portfolio, where we have different examples of these questions. On page 12 of our portfolio is our next feedback tool, which is the graph comparison of the pre and post test. As you can see, on the x-axis is the pre and post test. On the x-axis is which question that the students were answering, and the y-axis is how many students got that correct. And as you can see, it's a big gap between the two. Our third feedback tool, which can be seen in page 13 of our portfolio, is a rating of our lesson plan. Students had to rate our lesson plan between a 1 and 5, 1 being bad and 5 being excellent. And in page 13 of our portfolio, you can see that 68.8% of students said our lesson plan was excellent, 28.1% saying that it was great, and the rest saying that it was okay or good. We also had, at the end of our post-test, was a mandatory question of any constructive criticism, and majority of our criticism was good feedback, one of them being really good information and use great detail to help me understand, as well as nothing, y'all did awesome, with a couple exclamation points at the bottom. These were very important because it helps us better understand what we did good, that we can fix, that we can keep in the future, and what we need to change in the future.